In my last video, I highlighted the realities of working as a real estate agent and that less than 1% of agents actually have the experience to be considered a professional. You can check out that video here. Today, I'll dive into what I believe is the most crucial skill for success in real estate, a conclusion I've reached after reflecting on hundreds of deals over my 2 decades in the industry. The challenge with this skill is that it's nearly impossible to measure until you've experienced its impact firsthand. While many agents claim to be proficient in it, my experience tells a very different story. So what's the essential skill that sets successful agents apart? Well, it's the ability to negotiate. I'll share 3 essential truths I've discovered over the years. The third truth is particularly eye-opening, something I've rarely heard others mention, and it might just blow your mind. Before diving into these 3 truths, I want to clarify a few things. First, I'm not claiming to be the ultimate negotiator, nor am I disparaging agents who may not excel in this skill. My goal is to highlight the importance of negotiation, as many agents lack the skill, which can be detrimental to both their clients and the industry. As I mentioned before, I'm always learning. Recognizing the importance of negotiation has led me to dedicate countless hours to honing the skill, turning mistakes into valuable lessons. Second, every deal is unique, different people, different situations, different properties. Flexibility and adaptability are key. The ability to quickly assess and address issues is an essential part of effective negotiation. Third, personality types significantly impact negotiation. The big 5 traits, openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism, greatly influence how easy or difficult a negotiation can be. For example, negotiating with someone who is highly agreeable is often much easier than with someone who is naturally disagreeable. Finally, cultural influences also play a role. In some regions, negotiation is a way of life, while in many Western societies, it's less ingrained. So, given these factors, it's impossible to paint everyone with the same brush. Many people believe they're excellent negotiators based on their life experiences, and perhaps they are. Who am I to judge? This brings me to the first truth. Most people don't know how to negotiate in real estate because they never study it. Think about it. If you're an average person who only buys or sells a property a few times in your life, why would you invest the time and energy to study real estate negotiations? Most people wouldn't, and they don't. If you truly want to become a better negotiator, you need to understand people. This requires studying human psychology and behavior. I highly recommend looking into behavioral economics, a field that combines insights from psychology, economics, and other social sciences to understand how people make economic decisions. This is knowledge every serious negotiator should have. Studying this topic reveals that human behavior is often irrational and influenced by cognitive, emotional, and social factors. I see this all the time in real estate. For instance, there has been a case where my buyers were in a multiple offer situation and the seller accepted our lower priced offer simply because they liked my buyers more than the highest bidder. Although a higher price is typically better, the seller's emotions swayed their decision, benefiting my clients. Beyond understanding human behavior, it's crucial to learn from the best negotiators. There are countless books on this subject, and after absorbing their wisdom, you can develop your own techniques and mindset. In a nutshell, negotiation is about cooperating with the other party and practicing active listening to benefit your client. When done right, the other party won't even realize what happened, and they'll feel great about the deal at the end of the day. Lastly, every region has its own way of doing business, so understanding these differences is crucial for developing a positive relationship with your counterpart. You need to be familiar with the laws and cultural norms in your local real estate market. The most important part of all this is applying the knowledge you've gained in real life situations, because what's the point of learning if you can't put it into practice? However, as I mentioned in my previous video, only a small percentage of agents have substantial practical experience in selling real estate. This means that the majority of agents you'll encounter aren't particularly skilled or experienced negotiators in real estate transactions. Despite this, nearly every agent you meet will claim to be an excellent negotiator. But trust me, in my experience, the vast majority do not know how to negotiate effectively. Next time an agent claims to be a great negotiator, look them in the eye and ask them about their favorite negotiation book and for recommendations on improving your own negotiation skills. You can tell a lot about someone by seeing how they respond. They often have no clue because they don't know what they don't know. I can usually tell within a few sentences on the phone if an agent knows how to negotiate. Most of the time, they'll give away everything you need to know. So understand that most agents don't make a concentrated effort to become better negotiators. This brings me to truth number 2. As an agent, being a professional negotiator is the most valuable service you can offer your client. Why is this so important? Because ultimately, everything comes down to the terms of the contract, and price is usually the most critical factor. Time is also a key consideration. It translates directly into money. For example, when negotiating a closing date, the longer it takes, the more it's going to cost the seller to carry the property. You can have the most extravagant marketing campaign and do everything else perfectly, but if the negotiation fails, the entire deal goes bad, and all your previous efforts will be forgotten. Successful negotiation is the one element that must go right for a deal to succeed, and it's where many deals go wrong. The bottom line is that a skilled negotiator will help you secure the lowest price as a buyer and achieve the highest price as a seller. Having a skilled negotiator advising you provides a significant advantage in securing the best deal possible. Many people don't fully grasp the importance of this skill, partly because the real estate industry doesn't communicate the value of great negotiation effectively. As a result, many think that they can negotiate on their own, diminishing the perceived need for a real estate agent. An extreme example of this is in South Korea. Buyers and sellers always negotiate directly, which diminishes the role of agents, and they are treated accordingly. If you think an agent is challenging here, it's much tougher there. I can't imagine why anyone would want to be an agent in that environment. I believe the public's animosity towards real estate agents stems from this fundamental issue. An agent should, at the very least, net you more money than if you were to sell the property yourself. If they can't provide this value, what's the point of paying them? Many agents fail to demonstrate their value as negotiators simply because they aren't skilled in negotiation. Most can't even negotiate a full commission. I won't dive too deep into this, but consider this. If an agent can't protect their own income and the income that supports them and their loved ones, how can you expect them to negotiate effectively on your behalf? So don't forget this. The highest value an agent can offer is their negotiating ability. This brings me to truth number 3. Agents negotiate with agents. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the real estate communication process, here's a brief refresher. It's a bit like the game of telephone. If a buyer wants to communicate with a seller, the message goes from the buyer to their agent, then to the seller's agent, and then finally to the seller. The point is that information can get lost or altered as it passes from person to person. Ultimately, the information you receive as a buyer or seller is always filtered through agents. So where does the actual negotiation happen? It's between the agents. That's right. Real estate negotiations happens between the agents where the real action and critical communication take place. Think about that for a moment and consider the implications it has on your ability to negotiate. Even if you're the best negotiator in the world, it won't matter because your agent is the one who's actually communicating with the other party. And here's the kicker. You have no idea what they're saying, and you have absolutely no control over it. The reality is that as a client, you're completely dependent on your agent to negotiate on your behalf. But it gets even better. The information you receive from your agent isn't coming directly from the source. So how can you be sure it's accurate? Is your agent just telling you what you want to hear? Unfortunately, I've witnessed countless instances where agents withhold information from their clients or outright lie to avoid jeopardizing a deal. It's completely unethical, but it happens all the time. When tens of thousands in commission are at stake and you're dealing with a desperate, hungry, or greedy agent, who do you think they're really working for? As agents, we have a fiduciary responsibility to prioritize our clients' needs above our own. Regulatory bodies exist to ensure that we follow these rules, but I've seen agents being punished all too often, and I'm sure even more get away with it. While I believe there are many good agents who adhere to these principles, my experience has shown me that there are also plenty of bad agents who prioritize their commissions over their clients' needs. I'll leave it at that, but be careful who you choose to work with. Now, back to my main point. Let's assume that there are no unethical practices and we're dealing with ethical agents who have their clients' trust. The heart of all negotiations still lies between the two agents working to represent their clients' best interests. The more skill your agent at negotiating, the better the outcome they'll achieve for you. Your agent must be highly skilled at negotiating with other agents. That's the reality, because in most cases, your agent will rarely, if ever, speak directly to the other agent's client. If I can successfully convince the other agent of my position while addressing their objections, guess what happens next? That agent is likely to go to their client and advocate for the perspective I just presented. Since their client trusts them, the other agent ends up, perhaps unknowingly, working on my behalf, putting my client in an advantageous position. Having strong real estate knowledge is crucial in these situations. Although sometimes feigned ignorance can be a strategy with more experienced agents, nothing boosts a person's pride like genuine compliments on their expertise. However, in most cases, a deep understanding of the laws, pricing, the product, and the market is key to establishing your authority with other agents. Experience is invaluable here as it allows you to draw on similar situations and share relevant insights. Another point worth mentioning is that many agents talk too much, often revealing more information than they should. Information that can be beneficial to my client's negotiating position. All it takes is asking a few strategic questions and then listening closely. The agent will often tell me exactly how to secure a better deal for my client. Let me leave you with one final point from my experience. Often I find myself dealing with an agent who is inexperienced and new to the industry. Sometimes it's their first deal. As I mentioned in my previous video, only about 15% of agents complete more than 4 deals a year. So most of the time, I'm dealing with someone who lacks experience. Some of these agents essentially ask me to handle the deal for them due to their inexperience, giving me significant influence over the outcome to my client's advantage, of course. I've had several instances where I've essentially facilitated the entire deal according to my terms. I realize that my primary job is to negotiate with other agents. With this understanding, I've been able to successfully negotiate on behalf of my clients many times. Now, let me share a secret I've kept to myself for years. I absolutely love that there are so many agents in the industry. The more inexperienced agents there are, the more opportunities arise for my clients. When I encounter an inexperienced agent representing a relative's property or even their own, it's like music to my ears. I probably should have kept this to myself because if they ever watch this video, they might become more cautious around me. But then again, I don't know how much longer I'll be in the trenches, so the chances of that happening are pretty low. Besides, I doubt many agents follow my channel, and with its current low view count, I probably don't have much to worry about. By the way, if you found value in this video and want to help change that, now would be a great time to smash that like and subscribe button. In my next video, I'll dive into the different types of real estate agents you'll encounter in this industry. You won't want to miss it. I'll expose the types of agents you should definitely avoid. You can thank me later. Plus, in future videos, I'll be discussing how to determine if your agent is a skilled negotiator and the questions you should ask to weed out the bad ones. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.